Good morning. Hello, everyone. I can already see people coming in. Hey, Ulrich, thanks for coming in. Salam B21A. It's been a while. And Ulrich, you have been worried about me. Thank you. Ulrich emailed me and asked me what's going on. I have been just busy, crazy busy. And that's why I haven't posted much. I'm trying to record some videos and do some live streams, and that's kind of that's a title of today's live stream. And we can talk about other things, of course, as well, questions and other trucking topics. Ide live, not gonna. Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about today, trying to stay positive. Now we have been very crazy busy in a positive way, right? So that's good. And in these kind of times, it's hard to stay busy in a positive way because usually there are a lot of things that are happening, problems on the road, things like that. So you're trying to solve those problems. But if you have new drivers coming in, then new opportunities and things that you're working on, and then that prevents you from doing something like live streaming or recording videos like I do, then that's good, I guess. But I have to go back to the schedule and record more videos, of course. So how do you stay positive in this kind of environment? How do you guys, if you want to leave a comment, if you can be positive with these rates and how to do that? And I also wanted to talk why that's important for your business and for your sanity. I actually recorded two videos on this topic, and I lost both of them. The other day, I recorded the video at home, and I didn't like it because I recorded with my cell phone. And then yesterday, here in the office, I recorded it here on the software like this, but something happened. The program OBS shut down, and I just lost that video. And I'm thinking, okay, well, tomorrow um, I have to go back to the live streaming at least on Wednesdays, and I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about staying. You just cried out. Well, that's one of the ways that you can do. Uh, it's and I don't mean like how to. Sure, we can talk about that, like how to cope with the problems, but I mean like how to actually uh, keep the positive mindset. Okay, so here is what I have. I'm gonna start talking, and like I said, you guys can leave comment about this topic or anything else, any other questions that you might have, and we'll try to talk to them. And then hopefully soon I can go back to dispatch some trucks as well. Okay, how to stay positive? Well, first, I strongly believe that your mindset changes a lot of things. You can see people when you talk to them when they're negative. You can see it on their face, you can see it on their gestures, the way they talk. And if you do that, like if you do that kind of stuff, then the people around you, like look at this, the sun, like it was sunny here this morning, and now like it's becoming cloudy, and you can see it here on the screen. That's crazy. Um, and you can see that those people are spreading the negative energy around the people, around them. That's for sure. And I experience that, and I try to avoid those people. Like I'm trying to go away. Like when I see them, you just like if you have to deal with them, but then to hang out with those people or something doing business with them, I avoid them. I don't want that. I don't need that negative energy that negative mindset, complaining about things constantly, because you're not gonna change anything when you complain. You're not gonna, you know, it might work well for you because you're getting the stuff out of you. You might feel better that way, but people around you are for sure not gonna feel better, and they're gonna avoid you. We had someone here that worked for a couple of weeks. He was a dispatcher, and that's you know, we gave him those couple of weeks, but it just didn't work out. And I later, when I spoke to drivers, they said, well, even he was actually complaining about, you know, the situation all the time. Like, the drivers don't need that. Drivers are not going to listen, and that's not good for your company. That's not good for the you know, atmosphere. Okay, and that guy lasted only 2 weeks because we don't want that, right? I look serious, and that's like when you see me, you know, my face, I look you know, serious, but I always try to joke around. Not so much here in my videos, because I want to be professional, and you know, this channel is not for entertainment; it's for professional advice. But in reality, I do, you know, like to joke around and laugh. Okay, but if you see someone that's always in bad mood, then that's not gonna work. So even when I speak to drivers, they can see that. Like, okay, I tell them, hey, hopefully this is gonna turn around very soon. You know, I can't promise that, but we're gonna make the best out of it. Okay, and our people from Balkans, they always look like that. They always look like they're angry. They're always serious, and that's normal over there. Like, people, if people laugh too much, then you know, they think you're crazy. And that's different here in the United States. United States, like, when you go to a store, you go to do business, you know, people are forced to laugh. They have to, you know, greet you, and you know, and even here in Midwest, people are so nice. You go out, someone will hold your door. They will, you know, smile at you and, like, you know, nod when they see you in the middle of the road. They don't even know you. So that's normal here in Midwest. If you go to East Coast, or maybe West Coast, then that's different over there. Here, it's just normal to be like that. So if you're spreading that negative energy, it's not just going to affect the people around you. It's going to attract, and I believe that it's going to attract bad things coming to you. Because if you're always spreading that negative energy, you know, negative things are going to start happening to you, or you're just gonna concentrate only on those negative things. If you're that kind of person, you're only gonna. I'm gonna have to answer this because I do have brokers calling me. Give me 1 second. Dispatch. Nah, this is scam or spam. Spam call. I do have brokers call me, so I have to answer that. So B21A is saying you have to love this job, even if you had a bad day, because negative energy should not be transgressed to the work. Yeah, and I strongly agree with that. Right. Uh, so if you're negative, you're only going to concentrate on those things. You're going to complain this whole time. And especially right now, right? Especially right now, this is the time to complain for everyone, especially those kind of people. And if I come here out on the channel and I complain about the markets and about the loads and everything else, how is that going to look to our customers, to the brokers we work with, to our drivers? It's not going to look good, right? And they need someone to tell them that everything is going to be okay, right? Same like in a family, right? If you have a problem inside your close family and something is going on, they just need someone to tell them that it's going to be okay, that you're going to make it through. But if you are part of that negativity, and you can't you can't say that, or try to make it work out, and it's on you, because you're like, maybe you're like the main figure in your house. Like, maybe, you're the father, you're the mother. Everyone is looking up to you. And same here, everyone's looking up to you as a business owner, as a dispatcher, even as an owner operator. Like, when you're on the road, you have that responsibility to try to make things better. Okay, and I strongly believe that even though these are the probably the worst possible, trucking market times that anyone has remembered in our lifetime right now, I strongly believe that we have to stay positive and look at the positive things, not just concentrate on the negative. Like I can come out and complain and make these clickbait titles. This is the worst thing that has happened. Look at this, look at that, and that will attract people to watch the video, right? And they will watch the videos. But I don't want those views. I don't want to spread that message. There are other trucking channels here, and I watch some of them, or dispatching channels, and some of them, I do respect a lot. Some of them I don't think highly of, but there are a few of them that are just being objective, right? And they just tell how it is. But you cannot help but notice that generally people like negative things. Same in news. When you watch the news, when you watch these trucking channels, like there are way more views and comments on those negative videos, right? Because people are just waiting for that. Okay, and I don't want to do that. I want to stay positive, and we have been seeing that effect here in Usora Express. Where is that logo? Right here. Like we have been seeing that effect. The drivers can feel it, right? They can see it. They trust us. They can see that we're doing our best. We cannot change the markets. We cannot change the load prices, but they see that we're trying. And even if there is a like they don't have a load, like maybe like right now it's 11:30, and maybe there is someone right now that does not have a load yet for today, but they can see that we are calling loads, that we're offering them loads, and they can see what the markets are doing, right? And then once we find a good load that will fit them, then they're happy that they're moving, right? Because they know that this is what's going on. When I talk to drivers, all of them, 100% of our owner operators, when I talk to them, and like maybe their dispatcher cannot find them a load, right? All of them are saying it's the bad markets. None of them are saying, hey, well, you or this dispatcher or that dispatcher was not able to find us a load, or something negative about them. No, all of them say, the dispatcher gave their 110%, and I can see that there are no loads. The markets are so bad, and they're always saying that, like, the markets are bad. They're not saying the dispatcher is bad or something like that. Okay, and they appreciate me being positive and telling them, hey, once this turns around, we're gonna make up for the money we lost. Okay. Let me look at the. Oh no, well, B21A. Okay, so this is the thing here. This is the thing about the language, the English, because I'm streaming this on several different platforms and channels. So there is one. My main channel is in English, and that's why I'm translating. Okay, but you're probably looking at me at a different channel. Okay, is there money to make now in flatbed? I will come back to your question, Pablo, in a second. Let me just finish my thought, because I don't want to lose it unless I already lost it. Yeah, owner operators, markets. Yeah. So I also wanted to say one more thing about that. It's very I do appreciate our owner operators sticking with us, okay, because they know that the markets are what they are now. What the drivers and owner operators are looking for, it's mostly for someone to be honest, to be available, and to be able to help them when they need help. and that see that they are trying and giving their best, and that they know what they're doing. And Eusora Express, it checks all of that, right? So I'm just amazed how, even if someone has to do, like, we have two guys leave for 2 months, going back to their home countries to visit, and they've been texting us the whole time, like, and they told us, like, we are coming back. I mean, they know what the markets are, but they know what we do. And then also we have other two guys who do seasonal work, something else that's not related to trucking, and they're saying already, like, we're gonna go do that, but we're coming back in September, I think, for sure. So that really it gives me hope, right? It gives me hope that everyone is gonna stick together um, in this kind of market, and everyone is trying to make the best out of it. And I'll talk more about that. I want to talk about profitability in these kind of markets, but let me talk about flatbeds right now, because Pablo was asking that question. We can go and look at the markets for flatbeds right now. And what we have been noticing is that as far as flatbeds go, they are picking up because a lot of flatbed loads are seasonal, and right now construction has already started all over the United States, and roads are being built, businesses are being built or renovated. So flatbeds have to do a lot with that. And what we are seeing also as far as flatbeds go is that shorter loads, generally shorter loads would always pay more per mile, even with dry van or with the reefer. But with flatbed loads right now, we see better rates with shorter loads. Like if you can do 150 or 200-mile load with a flatbed, it's going to be tough to do 2 loads a day because there is usually strapping or tarping involved. But if you can do 1 load a day, that's paying like $4 or $5 per mile, shorter load, then that would be a way to go. Let's. Oh, I can't. No, I'm gonna scratch that. I'm not gonna look at the markets right now. I'm having some technical difficulties with that, so I'm not gonna look at those markets. How you see market conditions for 1 year? Oh man, pretty soon it's gonna be 2026, man. Like it's almost May, right? And I remember ever since this trucking crisis started, we've been doing videos every year in the beginning of the year, like predictions, and then at the end of the year, I will see whether I was right or not. And usually, I'm not right. I'm just gonna look, because like I said, I'm trying to stay positive and predict that this is the year that's gonna be better, but then it just never happens. And what's interesting as well is that when you look at the past videos like that, or my past conversations with other people, like in 2023 or 2024, we are complaining how the rates are bad. But I wish now that we can go back to those rates. And same thing, like every 2 or 3 months, you're like, okay, man, like I was complaining 2 or 3 months ago, but man, I wish we had those prices now, because it just keeps getting worse. It's crazy. How do I see market conditions? Okay, with the new White House administration and the new president, everyone was. Hold on 1 second. I have to answer this. Oh, come on. Okay. Right. Where was I? I can't remember the predictions for the next. Oh yeah, with the new president. So everyone, like this president is business minded, and everyone was having high hopes for that. But what you have to understand is with every administration, if something is about to be changed, it will take time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in a month or few months, maybe a year or two, because I'm not an economy expert, but if you know basic economy, you know that things that you do now, steps that you take now, it will take a long time for that effect of those steps to take effect on the economy, right? It's not going to happen overnight. So whatever he does, and he did a lot in these first few months, whatever he does now, it's just going to take a long time to reflect on anything. And I already see people who were having high hopes with him, with Trump, that he's going to fix everything. Everything is going to be, great now. And I see a lot of people right now, they're like, oh man, well, I think I made a mistake, right? This is not what I thought it would be. Well, like I said, it's not going to happen overnight. For the better or for the worse, whatever happens with the economy due to the things that he did, it's not going to happen overnight. So we just have to wait. The problem with the markets, like stock markets, is that it's just crazy. Like it's all speculation, and you do one thing like with the tariffs, and they go down, and then he says, well, I'm going to put them on hold, and then the stock markets go up. It's just like, like I'm not an expert on them, but to me that's you just have to wait and see what's going to happen, right? So for any of this to take effect, it's probably going to take a while. Now, during summer, hopefully we will see some progress, and maybe towards the holiday season, like close to Christmas, we might see more improvement due to these things that he's doing now. But I don't honestly see anything happening very soon. If it stays like this, we're gonna be happy, right? Why? Because it can only get worse. We read a lot of articles on like Freight Waves and other trucking news or the trucking channels, and they say the rates have hit a rock bottom. Like that's not rock bottom, is maybe 10 cents per mile, like, or zero, like right? Because we had drive and rates at the average was like 220 and then 210, and then we see these news titles that say like it's $1.95 or $2 per mile. This is the rock bottom. No, this is not the rock bottom. It can go to $1. That's what happened with box trucks. That's what happened with Sprinter vans. It could happen with our trucks. That's not the rock bottom. But like I said, I just hope, even if it stays like this, okay, it's better than $1.50 average. Okay. And like I said, I'm going to talk about profitability. Let me look at the comments. Tell me some info about market, and how about the low about Arkansas. What do you mean the low about Arkansas? What do you think? Did he do a right thing? I think it's a mistake. No, I'm not saying B21A. I'm not saying he did a right thing. I'm saying he did something. Talking about Trump here and the executive what's the name, orders that he did. Now, I'm trying to stay away from politics, but it's a fact that during the Biden administration, not a lot has been done, for the economy. It's a fact, like not a lot. They did towards the end of 2024. The Fed cut the interest rates a little bit, but that's the only thing that they did. They didn't do anything else. And we had the inflation. And I'm not saying this is because of Biden administration that we had the inflation and all of that. It had to do with COVID and other things probably. But the fact is that he did not do much, right? Unlike every other president that was in the office, before him, historically, like he just like he was a ghost. You would never see him do anything, right? Nothing. And then when when they were running for the election, and like Kamala Harris, she started going around, and like she was just laughing. She didn't like give out any of her plans. Like she was just like nothing. Like what are you gonna do? You don't have a plan for anything. And given the fact that like during the previous 4 years, your president and your administration didn't do anything, like we can probably expect that even if you become a president during the next 4 or 8 years, you're not gonna not much is going to change, right? I don't think so. But now when Trump came in, like he's starting like working like from the first day, and that's what we want. We want someone that's working, you know. Now, if these decisions were good or not, time will tell. We don't know. Well, we'll see. But at least he's doing something. He's trying to change something. So that's what's giving people hope, and that's what's giving us hope. I do not agree with him on other things, on a lot of things, but like something is happening, and we have to see if that's going to be positive or negative. We just don't know. Like I can't say, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's just like he's getting old, and just I don't know. Maybe there is something behind it. We'll see. We have to see. So it's what it is. We can't change it. We just can hope for the best. Like I say, that's why we're trying to stay positive and optimistic. Hopefully these decisions will reflect in a positive way, not just on the economy, but on trucking industry as well. I have to send a text message. Like yesterday, I read that there are a lot of containers just waiting in China to be shipped out. They're just waiting. Okay. So that in the short term, I guess it's going to have a negative effect on us. But if something happens, they reach out, they reach a deal on those tariffs, if something changes, hopefully we're going to have stuff coming in, therefore making everyone busy, therefore having a shortage of the trucks, therefore raising the freight prices, right? So we'll see. I don't know. How do you see Baba AI Dispatcher? I spoke about that in my last, I think it was my last stream. I spoke about that, and I tested it live, and it failed. It's just, it's stupid. It failed. It doesn't do anything. Like it can't, like I tried it live. I don't know if they changed something, but that was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So, yeah. Thank you for having this discussion. It has not been easy to book load lately, and it's very discouraging. Okay, so let's talk about that. As a dispatcher, I've said this few times, and this is what we're trying to do to fight the fact that it takes long time to book a load, is not to give more than 5 trucks to our dispatchers, right? It used to be that you can do like 10, 15. Some people would do 20 trucks, depending if you're working on spot markets or if your contracts a consistent freight, stuff like that. But right now with spot markets, 5 trucks. I mean, you could do 7, like it's not a problem. You could do 10, but 5, I think, is just optimal for us to be able to give everyone the attention that they deserve, right? Because it will take like 2 or 3 loads to book, 2 or 3 hours to book a load sometimes, and you might have other empty trucks, and then someone else calls you with a problem. They need a pickup number, or the load is canceled, and then like you're pulling your hair out. Okay, so 5 trucks, I think that's good, and that will put less pressure on the dispatcher, and the drivers will be more satisfied. They will know that they get the attention that they deserve, and they will probably stay with you for a long time. Because why would they switch dispatchers or switch companies to someone who's trying to save money right now? Like let's say you have a carrier that has like 30 or 40 trucks, and you're switching to them, and these guys are trying to save money by employing only 2 or 3 dispatchers, and they're overwhelmed. They cannot, they don't have time to do all of that. And why would you do that? And you know how the markets are. So that will make the driver, in my opinion, the owner operator, to stay with you longer. They're not going to go away from you. So what else can you do as a dispatcher to stay positive? Well, this is a job, right? If you're a dispatcher, because for me it's different. I do other things. I do a lot of other things. Like everything else that's involved in running a trucking business, I do all of it, right? Not invoices. Emro has been doing invoices for a while right now, but I used to do them. I know how to do them. Okay. Once you, like, whatever you do, you work in a bank, insurance company, in a factory, on construction, driving, whatever you do, it's work, right? Usually you have set hours, and and that's a problem, with having a regular work, that it can get boring, right? And you're doing repetitive tasks every day. You're doing the same thing every day. Every day, you're going to do that, and it gets boring. I understand that, but it's any kind of a job. It's going to be the same thing. Same thing with a dispatcher. All you do is you get up, you go to work, you cover trucks, you solve problems, and then once you cover that truck, then the truck is going to deliver probably the next day or in 2 days. And now you have to do it all over again. And every day you do that for months, for years, for the rest of your life. That's what job is, any job, right? So your job as a dispatcher is to look for a load that a driver will like, owner operator, that they will be profitable on. And that's all you can do, right? You want to keep them happy. If you have that mindset, then it should be fine. But if you keep overthinking and kicking yourself and like, oh, there are no loads, look at this, oh man, these stupid brokers, why are they, they're taking all the money and they're not leaving any for us there. They don't want to use me because I changed my address. They don't want to use me because of this or whatever. The brokers right now are just doing that. They hang up on me. Look at this guy, he's so rude. Like, you can't change it. All you can do is just like wait for the better times, because things will turn around, and then we will have the upper hand. And if you're like that, then you're gonna be doing that same thing to them, right? If that makes you feel better, but just don't do it. Just be normal. Do it always. Being professional goes a long way. Sometimes I get angry, I get emotional, and I want to fight with these brokers, but Emro tells me, like, he's like, no, just let me deal with it, because I'm gonna cuss them out. Like, I'm gonna tell them what it is. Like, I'm gonna tell them what's up. And then Emro is saying, no, let me deal with it, because he knows that. And then when I think about it later, I'm glad that he did it, right? Because you don't want to burn any bridges. You don't want to break the relationships that you have with brokers, because we do need them, right? We do need them. They need us, even though they don't want to admit it. Like, they need drivers, they need carriers, they need dispatchers, because they won't be able to do their job if it wasn't for that. Pablo Nada, do you surrogate loads from loadboards, or has direct contracts with shippers or brokers? No, we work mostly with spot markets, load boards. We are trying always to get into some kind of a contract, but getting direct shippers and contracts, it's harder than it sounds. And then even if you can get one shipper or one contract, for this many trucks, it's not going to mean a lot. It sure is a way to start. But you got to keep in mind that the direct contracts, direct shippers will tend to take longer to pay you, and there's a bigger risk of not getting paid and being paid on in a timely manner, because you do have to pay your drivers, your owner operators every week, and if you have to wait for them for a month or two to pay you, then that's different. Also, they're very strict as far as everything goes, so you have to have a really big fleet and maybe a lot of company drivers to do that. If you have owner operators are very picky. They might not want to do that load or that lane that you have with that shipper. The load might be heavy, maybe not paying enough. So, they have that luxury of turning down a load, right? But with the company driver, you just tell them, you pay them usually by mile, and they just do it, right? So for us, it's easier to work on the spot markets. I agree, it would be better for everyone if we could bypass the brokers, but that's how the markets and the industry is set up right now. It looks like it's bad time now to get in the dispatch job. What's your opinion? That I speak about that every time when I'm on a live stream about getting into dispatching, and right now I'm actually I'm gonna check this message. Hmm. A suspicious transfer. Okay. Well, that is weird. Give me 1 second. I just have to check this. Who is this? Yeah, this looks like some kind of a spam message. I'm gonna turn down the heat here. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Let's see if we have other comments or questions. Yeah, so dispatching job, no, I strongly discourage that. If you don't have any experience with dispatching, if this is something new to you and you're trying to learn and trying to find a job, I strongly discourage that because it's going to be hard to find a job, with no experience, or if you're trying to form your own company, it's going to be hard to find owner operators. And then let alone being inexperienced, you're not going to be able to keep them right now. Unfortunately, that's what it is. And I see there are some dispatching channels here that are full on with the dispatching courses and like saying how you can make the money, how you can be the boss, your own boss. Yeah, maybe 2-3 years ago that was the case, but right now, if you see that, I mean, I couldn't. It might be a harsh word, but I can't. I don't want to lie to anyone. I don't want to lie to you and tell you, oh yeah, buy my dispatching course, and you're gonna be able to make all this money. You're gonna succeed. No, I'm not gonna lie to you. If you want, we do have dispatching courses, but it doesn't have to be for someone that's brand new at dispatching. It can be a trucking company that's trying to train their drivers. Maybe it's an owner operator who wants to learn how to dispatch themselves, right? So you can do that with a dispatching course. But if you want to buy our dispatching course because you're brand new to dispatching and you want to learn how to dispatch in order to start your own dispatching agency and do that, then I'm just going to tell you right now, don't buy our dispatching course for that. because you're just gonna waste your money and you're not gonna be able to make it. You know, I mean, maybe you will, but the chances are that you're not gonna be able to make it. So don't do it, right? If you want to learn, there are so many free videos on YouTube. I have a lot of videos. I have like 500 videos on the channel, and there are other channels as well. You can learn for free. You don't have to pay for that. And you can try for sure. If you have nothing else to do, you can try. Maybe you'll succeed. And then you can write a story or a video about that, you know, and then maybe you can have your own channel and teach others to do it. Why not? Ken, nice to see you. Thanks for coming in. Ken is saying I was Detroit Euro. Hey, how are you? Yeah. Detroit Euro sent me here, Samir Kekic. You're the man. Thank you, Samir. We do speak on, you know, in English here because for, you know, of the audience. But, you know, everyone that lives here speaks English, so probably better than I do, so they can understand. If you have more questions, let me know here in the chat. I have been streaming for 36 minutes now. Okay. And then, okay, I want to talk about being profitable as an owner operator. Okay. So you got to stay positive. If you are a dispatcher or a carrier or a broker, you got to stay positive and spread that positive energy to your drivers. But how can a driver be positive if they're not profitable, right? Harry, I will answer your question in a minute. I'll try to talk about this first, about the premium insurance, okay? So in order for a driver to stay positive, they have to make some profits, and they have to make this worth their while, right? Cutting costs, of course, that's the first thing you can do as an owner operator, as a driver. Cutting costs. If you have a finance, if you have your truck is financed, and you have a big payment on that truck, then that's going to be hard. If you're already stuck with the truck, you cannot sell it, of course, and it's because it's probably worth less right now than what you owe. Okay, but if you're just getting into this, consider buying a truck for cash if you have the cash, or financing through a traditional loan through a bank. If you're looking to lease a truck from one of those companies that are out there that are leasing trucks, I do not recommend that, because that's going to be a higher payment for your truck. And in the long term, you're going to pay way more money as opposed to financing or paying cash. And you will be in a contract with them for 2, 3, 5 years. And you cannot return the truck if something goes downhill. If you finance your truck, you should be able, especially if you put money down, you should be able to sell the truck if something goes bad, right? Or if you have it for cash. So that's the most important thing if you're just trying to start right now, or if you can change it, if you can maybe get rid of that truck, or maybe buy something for cash, or pay it out, you know, or pay it off. That's one of the things you can do. Second thing is to have a company that understands your needs and is willing to accommodate your needs while giving you an advice on how, like, what to do, right? If you go somewhere where the management and the dispatchers don't have much experience with owner operators, or if they don't understand that you need to make money, and that's usually a bigger companies that have company trucks, right? If the company is 100% owner operator based, then that's different. But if you have someone that has a lot of company trucks, or one of those big companies where they're micromanaging everything, and you have to talk to 5 people in order just to go into the company, then stay away from them, right? You're not going to be able to be profitable there. You have to have someone that's owner operator oriented. okay, as a driver, because those guys will concentrate on your profit, on your gross income, and on your net income, right? Because the worst thing that you as an owner operator can ask me is like, what's the gross I can get with your company, right? That's an uneducated question, because everyone is, if you're an owner operator, you already have a truck, you're already driving, you know what the market rates are. You know what they are. I can't lie to you, and you know how many miles you can drive in a week. Therefore, it's just simple math of multiplying those miles with the average rate. Now, some companies might have some different contracts or some customers where they can make more money, but are they going to give you those lanes, right? Let's say you're an owner operator and you find a company and they have these great lanes that they run, and it's a direct shipper, and it's paying way more than spot market, and they're just waiting for you to come in and give you all those loads, because they don't have any of the other trucks that are, like they don't go by seniority, or they don't have anyone else doing it. Maybe you can do that load once in a while, but are they going to give you those loads all the time? No, you might be able to do it one time or a couple of times, but then the rest of the week you're just going to do broker loads. So, like you got to make sure who to trust. I tell you right away what it is. Like, you ask me what's the gross you can make, and I tell you, well, like, what are the market rates? Well, drive-in is $2 per mile. Okay, the average $2 per mile. Well, we can give you a little bit more than that, because we will try to get the most out of it. We will plan the lanes for you where you don't go to a bad area unless we have a good load from there, right? We don't want to give you a $3 per mile load to go to Florida, and then from there you go out for 80 cents per mile. No, we don't want to do it. So we want to plan. So whatever the spot markets are, we are going to make sure that you make more than that on an average. Okay, hold on one second. I have to call the driver. They don't know how to load him properly in order to be legal. I think you can explain them a single double. Okay, I have to call this driver. This is going to be in Bosnian, so I have to talk to him about the way they can load the trailer. Give me 1 second. Ja sam ovamo live, ali nema veze, evo nazvao sam te da to riješimo. Koliko imaju paleta? 15 pallets? Okay, so 15 pallets times 4, it's 60. Možeš, okay. Hey, how you doing? Hey, so the best way to load a truck that's 53 foot along the trailer is to go to 48 feet. So that's 12 rows of pallets, right? And you have 15 pallets. So I would just do like a couple of single pallets, and then maybe a double, and then yeah. As long as the last pallet is to 40 at 48 feet mark, you have 12 rows of pallets, then that should be fine. Cool. All right, thank you so much. Okay, bye. Ništa, on će tako onda uraditi. Jest. Ništa, čujemo se. Ja. Ništa, moj ti savjet, kad zatvaraš prikolicu, ako ti nije zadnja paleta na 48 fita, vidi da tu, ili vidi uvijek koliko imaju paleta i objasni im kako će to variti. Ok, ništa, čujem se. Maja, ok. Ajmo. So this guy, what happened is that he picked up a load that was 37,000 pounds, and he sent us a scale ticket. I can try to bring it here and show it to you. I'm gonna save it to the computer and then just bring it here into the. Okay, here we go. Okay. So what he did is he felt that the truck was acting funny. It wasn't stable and something was pushing. And that's usually the fact. It happens usually when the trailer is not loaded properly. And, like if something is really off. And in this case, so he decided to go to a scale, to a truck stop and get the weight. So the steer axle is just under 12,000 pounds, which is legal. And then the drive axle, the two tandems on in the back of the tractor, was illegal. It was over 34,000. It was 880 pounds over the legal weight limit. And then trailer axle was 24,800, which is like 10,000 pounds less than the legal limit, and the gross weight is way less than the legal limit. But this was done with the rear axles on the trailer. The trailer tandems, they were slid all the way to the front, right? And once you slide them to the front of the trailer, then they take over some of the weight. Like each hole, there are holes like for the pins. Each hole takes around 400 pounds. Okay, but he slid it all the way to the front, and still it was over the legal limit on the drive axle. Now you can also slide the fifth wheel on the back of the truck, but in this case it wouldn't have helped because the weight would probably carry over to the steer axle, and he was almost 900 pounds overweight, right? So this would have not helped. And I just told him, just go back, just go back. And then I didn't know how many pallets he had, but it was 15 pallets. So they put everything to the front, 37,000 pounds loads. And I did make a video the other day. There's a video on the channel where I spoke about that. Like, you cannot do that. Like, so my advice to him and to everyone else is like, no matter what the weight is for the truck, for the load, when you go back or before you load the trailer, you talk to the people on the dock and ask them, how heavy is the load? How many pallets do you have? And based on that, then you tell them how to load the load. Ideally, you want to go all the way to 48 feet in the back on a 53-foot trailer. So that leaves room for another pallet in the back. Okay, so that's the limit, 48 feet. That means, because usually the pallets are 4 feet wide and long, they're squares. That means you will have 12 rows of pallets, because 12 times 4 feet is 48 feet. So in this case, he had 15 pallets, but he can have 12 rows. So you can do two doubles. You can do like 3 or 4 single in the front, and one double stack, next to each other, that not on top of each other, but next to each other, and then a couple more singles, and then maybe another double, all the way to 48 feet. So that's what he's gonna do right now. Okay. Okay. Where were we? Pablo Nada, I want to lease onto Isora Express, but run only west only. Do you think it's a good area for Fab? Thanks for sorry for no, it's not. Hey Miral, it's not it's not many questions. Yeah, we can do west as well. And the only thing is, like, for example, in California, they need intrastate. You have to have an intrastate permit in California, and we cannot do California to California loads. But if you are going like to California, Arizona, Nevada, Washington, Utah, Oregon, then yeah, we can do that. You know, because we do have a driver, for example, that lives in California, Los Angeles, California, and he's on a drive end, but we can do flatbeds as well. So hit me up, call me. The phone number is an email is in all my videos. I think I have a. What about this? Yeah, here on the bottom. And I have a phone call. I'm gonna answer this. Dispatch. Yeah, we do, but there's a phone number in the comment. Can you call that number, please? Thanks. Yeah, bye. Man, this Georgia truck is very popular. Everyone keeps calling me, but the dispatcher, he left his phone number there, and they keep calling me, and I have to tell them that every time. Okay. Let's see. So I got a quote. Harry's saying I have a quote. I got a quote for 16K. I'm assuming for the year for premium insurance, and I'm assuming that's liability and cargo for New Authority. And I think that's good. I mean, it's not good in a sense that it's cheap, but it's better than most of other quotes. I'm gonna say it's okay, because I've seen quotes for like 20, 30, 40, 50K a year for one truck. So 16K is okay to start. In the meantime, you can maybe shop for different insurance, or when you get a renewal, then you might get a better quote. If this is Progressive, then I would not go with Progressive. Or if this is your way to start, then just start with them and look for another insurance, because Progressive, they will raise your prices. Okay. Can I work remotely in Somalia, East Africa? Yes, you can. If you have a stable internet connection and a computer and maybe some money to start, then yes. Hello, Mirel. Nice to see you. Very nice to have you here watching. On Mars, the rate per mile is $10. Well, on Mars, you can probably fly thousands of miles in a day. So if they're paid $10, then those are really good lanes. Those are really good lanes, and maybe we can look into that. Doing those loads. I'm just kidding. Very interesting topic. I'm late to the party. Well, you can always rewatch everything. It stays on the channel. Do you guys ever drive to Hawaii? I was speaking to someone the other day, and I was talking to them if there are any Bosnians in Hawaii, and they said that yeah, if there are Bosnians on Hawaii, I'm pretty sure they're driving over there, right? So we have to look into that as well. Hello, just follow you. Shouldn't the shipper have known how to load the trailer? Will you be able to ask for more money for going back? We will for sure ask for more money. Chris, I'm sure he's on top of that, because Chris is the dispatcher for this truck, this owner operator. But that's kind of like most dispatchers will not dispatchers sorry most shippers will know how to load a truck because they get them all the time. And like, for example, this guy that loaded this truck, I'm sure now he knows how to load these loads. Like the next truck that comes in, he's probably gonna load the correct way. So now he learned something new. It's usually these smaller companies where they occasionally do a load or two, or if they have someone new, someone filling in for someone, that's when they're gonna make mistakes. I mean, there are big companies that do them as well, but usually it's the smaller companies, that don't have a lot of experience. And yes, you're right. If you're shipping something and you have a forklift and a forklift driver and a load that has to go somewhere and a loading dock, you should know how to load the truck. On the other hand, the driver also should know how the truck has to be loaded, right? So they can argue that the driver didn't say anything, right? They can say that. And I'm not gonna say they're right, but I think, in my opinion, both will be like it's their fault, both of them, not just the shipper. You will assume the shipper knows, but you as a driver, you know, you because you're a professional, you do this every day. If you don't tell them in advance how to load the truck, then once you're loaded and you go back to close that door, you're supposed to look at the load. If the load is safe, strap the load, and you're able to see the way it's been loaded. If the load is 37,000 pounds, that's pretty heavy. That's not a light load, right? And if you see that all the pallets are in the front of the trailer, then you should react. Okay, now at this point, like, you're gonna go back, hey, you guys loaded me wrong. Okay, and it's totally their fault from the shipper. But then you noticed the problem before you took off and you went back and had them corrected. But if you take off and you don't say anything and you go 30 miles to a truck stop to get your weight and you notice something is wrong, then the broker can argue that you should have noticed, right? So it's kind of, like, it's going to be hard to get some money for that. Maybe they'll give us some money, but yeah, we'll see. Hit the like button for Ennis. Yeah, hit the like and the subscribe button, or else, if you hit the like button, the loads are gonna be paying $3 per mile next month. So yeah, do it. Ulrich, impressive how the weights are regulated over there. In my home country, gross weight average starts with 90,000 pounds. Gross weight average starts. Wow. Well, here they have those bridge formulas, and a lot of states have their different rules, but it's kind of universal that that United States of America and Canada, the maximum load weight that's allowed on a semi truck like this would be 80,000 pounds. Well, I mean, that's the gross weight for the whole for the truck, trailer, and the load, right? So the load itself is probably going to be maximum of like 40 to 48,000 pounds. Okay, because on a flatbed you can do 48,000 pounds. So that's the maximum load weight, like 40, between 40 and 48, depending on the weight of the actual equipment. Okay, now you can haul heavier loads. You just have to have a permit for that. There are heavier loads. They're oversized. They're overweight loads. You just have to have different permits, and they will tell you which routes you can take. Okay, based on that weight. So that's what's how it works here. I had a question. if you send the BOL to the factoring company, what paperwork is sent to the broker after the load is delivered? In other words, how will the broker know if the load was delivered? Does he get a copy of the BOL if it was invoiced to factoring company? I'm confused. Okay, so the way invoices work, or the sending the bill of lading, like if you don't factor your invoices, let me see what's going on here with the stream. I'm gonna have to refresh this screen just to see what's going on because something is off. Okay. Chat. Okay. Now, as far as the invoices go, if you're not factoring, then the way it works is the driver delivers a load. They send you the bill of lading, whether it's a picture of the original. You produce an invoice saying like this load is paying this much, and it picked up from here to here. It includes the broker's name and the rate. And then you attach the rate confirmation that you got from the broker, and then you attach that bill of lading or POD, as they call it, proof of delivery, once it has been signed as delivered by the receiver. Excuse me 1 second, I have to. I thought I muted myself. Mute me. Oh. Now you can't hear me. Sorry. I've been talking so much and I don't have any water. I'm gonna get some water. Give me 1 second. All right, I'm here. So you attach the rate confirmation, the invoice, and the POD, and you send it to the broker, and that's it. That's how they get the POD in order to be paid from their customer, right? That's how they receive it from you. Now, doing invoices, sometimes it will take you a day or two or more to send that actual invoice, and sometimes the brokers will ask for the POD before that because they need it for whatever reason. They want to get paid as well, and sometimes they cannot wait those 2 or 3 days when you send them the invoice. So sometimes they will ask you, if they ask you, the broker, for the POD after the load is delivered, then it's a common practice to do that, to send it to them, even though you don't have the invoice ready, even though you haven't submitted the invoice to the broker or to the factoring company. You should do it. Okay, it's just standard procedure to send them the bill of lading so they have it. Okay, but if you're waiting for the load to be invoiced for a few days, no matter whether you're sending to the broker or sending it to the factoring company, then that's different. You will prepare the invoice, upload it to the factoring company, and then they will send it to the broker. Now it might take them a day or two or more to send that invoice to the broker. So now you're adding more time. Now the broker is waiting for like 3 or 4 or 5 days to get the invoice, and that's they don't like that. No one likes that. So in order to send these PODs to the broker, you can do 2 things. You can wait when the invoice is ready, upload it to the factoring company or to the broker, or after the load is delivered. We usually get the PODs from the driver when they deliver right away. As soon as they deliver, They get the POD in their hand, they take a picture, upload it to our app or whatever. They can email it to you, text it to you. Then you can decide, okay, I'm going to be a nice person and professional one. I want to show them that I'm on top of things. You can just send that bill of lading or POD to the broker no matter what. Like they don't even ask you for it. You just say, hey, this driver is empty, the truck is empty, the load is delivered, everything was fine. Here's the POD for you. And you just email it to them. And then they're going to be like, oh, thank you. That's very kind. We might call you in our next load. Or you can wait for them to ask for the POD. If they ask for it, make sure you send it to them. If they don't ask, then you can just choose to upload it to a factoring company whenever you can or send them the invoice. I hope this was clear enough. Everybody hit the likes button. We have more likes than extra viewers, so the rate will reach $3 by tomorrow. I cannot promise the rates will reach $3 by tomorrow, but for sure by beginning of May, if we just slam that like button. Okay, so here we go. Let's see what else do we have. How long have we been streaming? For 1 hour. Let's see what's new in news, and then if you have any more questions, we can answer them. I was gonna talk more about profitability for owner operators, but I got sidetracked by I think that phone call, and the questions. I was gonna talk more about. You're welcome, Laura. About profitability for owner operators. Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about that. So in order for you as an owner operator to stay in this business, you have to have some profit. If you cannot be profitable in these times, then in these bad times, then you're doing something wrong, right? Because once the markets turn, or like 2 or 3 years ago, most people were able to be profitable, and it wasn't that hard. Right? You just like the loads are paying great, and like whatever, unless you're really wasting money on stupid things, then yeah, you cannot make any profit. But most people, whatever your background was, if you were driving or starting a trucking company, you were able to get a profit. But it's tricky to be profitable in these times, and this is a test for you whether you can do this, whether you're cut for this, right? Whether you're capable of doing this, and whether this is for you or not. Maybe this is not for you, okay? And I'm not saying that in a negative way, but maybe like you're gonna be better off doing something else. This is for people who are in this for the long term, right? If you don't know how to deal with a recession or with the trucking markets that are bad like right now, then this is not for you, because this happens all the time. This is not the first time. It has never been this bad, but we have these market collapses, or whatever you want to call them, every 2, 3, 4 years in trucking. It's always like that. And if you cannot handle this, this is not for you. And it will, even if you live this one through, you're going to learn a lot of new things. You will be prepared for the next one, and you're going to make sure that you are preparing for the next one. Because people that started this during COVID, they had no idea that this was going to happen. Like they were thinking, oh, trucking is booming. It's going to stay like this forever. And we're going to become rich. And we're going to spend that money. We're going to buy a lot of new cars and personal homes and go to vacation and buy new trucks and pay drivers $2,000 per week. But then everything crashed, right? So next time when we get into a situation like that, if you're still in this business, you will save money and be smarter about this, okay? So if you can be profitable right now, then that's a good sign. Then you're going to be prepared for the next boom, and you're going to make some money. Hopefully, you're going to make up the money that you lost. But how can you be profitable? Like I said, first, you gotta have a paid off equipment or not a big payment, or try to pay off that truck as soon as you can. That's the first thing. Second thing is have your own trailer, right? Have your own trailer. That's the best thing. Even like right now, you can buy a decent trailer for $10,000, right? Yeah, Elric, I can't stream for 6 hours. I have to go, before 1 p.m. I really have to go. So I'm gonna try to make this quick. But then I want to stay. I want to do this more often. I keep saying that, but like I'm just so busy. Anyway, you have to have your own trailer. If you're gonna rent, man, trailer rent is expensive. And when you rent a trailer, they're gonna, most of them will say, hey, we have maintenance included and we're gonna fix it if something breaks down. But they're gonna make sure that they charge you a lot for that, and they're gonna try to blame everything on the driver. Something breaks down, oh yeah, send me pictures. Like the other day, an airbag was bad, and they're saying, well, we have to first see if the driver damaged the trailer airbag, and then we will pay for it. Come on, man. And I also, because we are renting here locally, and I think our deal that we have right here, right now, is the best for the dry van trailers that we can get, right? Because we're not asking you as an owner operator to put any money down. You don't have to not put money down. There is an escrow for the trailer, but most of these trailer rental places will ask for not just an escrow, but like a 1 month advance payment. So your first payment will be for 2 months plus the deposit. Okay, so here you don't have to do 2 months. Like we like once you start working, we don't charge you for anything for the trailer, right? And the first settlement, then we just deduct the weekly fee for the trailer. That's it. But if you're trying to rent it on your own, then you'll see that they require a down payment plus 2 months rent. Let me answer this. Dispatch. Yeah, can you please call the number in the comment? Thanks, bye. This is like the 10th call for this guy in Georgia. It must be hot in Georgia. I mean, and I don't mean like outside. Okay. So for the trailers, they will ask a deposit and 2 months rent. And then also they don't usually cover, like if you have a flat tire, they will not cover that. And then most of them will not just charge you for the rent, they will also charge you for the per mile fee. I spoke to an owner operator the other day, and he wanted to lease on to us, and he asked me like what the trail rent is, and I told him, and this is not my rent, this is what they charge. You're more than welcome to have your own trailer or to rent that trailer from someone else. I really don't care. I would actually prefer that you rent a trailer on your own, okay? But if not, we can hook you up with these guys. You go to them and we take care of it, okay? And he's saying, well, Extra Lease trailers, they're charging $600 per month. And I'm saying, okay, that's great. I'm going to call them and maybe we can rent with them. If it's $600 per month, that's great. Well, don't forget that you have physical insurance for the trailer. It's not just the rent. You have to pay for the insurance for the trailer because that's separate. That's not the cargo and liability because the rental place for the trailer, they will want to have the physical insurance, proof of insurance before you pick up that trailer. So that's going to be extra. And that goes, that's based on value of the trailer. Okay, because they will tell you how much. Because we had someone in California that is renting a trailer from Penske. It's a drive-in trailer. And they're saying that this trailer is 50, was it like $50,000 worth? There is no way. Like, you can buy a brand new trailer right now for $35,000, okay? A drive-in trailer. There is no way that used trailer is worth over $50,000. But yeah, they're saying that, and if you want to rent from that place, you will have to pay physical insurance based on value of the trailer, and that means that it's going to be much more. It's going to be twice as much for that insurance as opposed renting a trailer that's worth $25,000. Let's say that let's say that 6% is the rate. So if let's say you have a $30,000 trailer times 6, that's okay, 180. That's $1,800 a year for the insurance. Okay, for that trailer, that's $30,000. So if you have a trailer that's $50,000, and 6% from that is $3,000. Okay, see what I'm saying? So you're paying $3,000. You're paying $1,200 more per year for that trailer that's worth $50,000. So that's one thing. Okay, so I called. I'm looking at the comments. So I called Extra Lease and I said, hey, I'm calling to see if we can rent some trailers from you. And they're like, okay, well, we have these requirements. You have to have a business address, being in business for more than, I don't know, like how many, 2 years or something like that. And I'm saying, okay, we check all of that. We're good. How much is your, and I'm going to have to send you an application. Okay, well, how much is the rent? 800, I know, like 825 or something per month. Okay, plus the insurance. Okay. And I see that some of these places will not have the maintenance included. You have to pay for the maintenance. Anything breaks down the tree, you have to pay for it. But then they have an option where you can, there is a per mile charge, and then you have the maintenance on that trailer. And I say, okay, well, is the maintenance included? Because you have to ask them all these questions. Is there a down payment? Is there a deposit? Is there, whatever? Is there maintenance included? Well, yeah, for 8 cents per mile, additionally, you will have maintenance included. How much is that? Let's say you drive 3,000 miles a week, okay? 3,000 miles a week times 4 for the whole month. Let's say you drive 12,000 miles a month, okay? I know this in my head, but I want to be, I don't want to make a mistake here. $960 a month for the maintenance, plus $825, $1,785 just to rent a trailer. You can buy a great used trailer right now for $10,000 as an owner operator, as a drive-in. You can buy it for sure. It's not going to be new. It's going to be like 10, 12 years old, but still, why not? Maybe even younger than that. If you have your own trailer, and you are leased onto someone, all you're paying them is the cargo and liability insurance because you have your own trailer. Okay, that's another way to save a lot of money. Okay. Another thing is to try to fix things before they break. Don't wait until something is broken down and then you go fix it. You maintain it. You get home, you get under that truck, and you look what's going on. Even if you don't know how to fix it yourself, if you can find a local, dependable mechanic, word of mouth, ask other drivers. You're not gonna find them on Google or on internet. When you go to truck breakdown websites, you're going to find those good local mechanics by word of mouth. And then once you have them maintaining your truck, you're going to save so much money on that. Fuel, like, do you have fuel discounts? Here with our fuel discounts, I see, like yesterday I did the payroll. I see a lot of our drivers, a lot of our owner operators have like $200 in discounts for the fuel. That's a lot of money per year. Okay. Try to drive slowly. Try not to idle your truck. There are so many ways. I mean, maybe we could talk about that in another stream about those things. But there are so many ways you can save money. And then you can for sure be profitable. Your profit is not going to be big as an owner operator in these markets, but still, you're your own boss, right? You don't have anyone to answer to. No one is micromanaging you. You can go home or stay home whenever you want. And, it's your truck. No one is telling you how to do business. You don't have to beg them if you have an appointment with your kids or doctor's appointment, or you're just sick. You don't have to beg anyone. And that's worth something. I see an argument right now that all company drivers are making more money than owner operators, or maybe they're making the same money. Okay, well, maybe that might be the case with some people, but being an owner operator is not just about money. It's about being free and being your own boss, right? And of course, you would think that having your own business and your own truck, a lot more headaches and all of that, it should be worth more. You should be making more. Yes, in good times, in normal times, yes, definitely, and you will be making more. But if you sell that truck right now for very cheap, because you're not gonna get the money that truck is worth, and you're gonna have peace of mind, go to being company driver, but then you're gonna have to beg your boss to do, like, go home, be with your family, do anything. They're gonna call you and tell you, oh, turn off the truck. Like, why are you idling your truck? Why are you not getting fuel at this truck stop? Why are you doing this? Why are you late? Why? All of these things, and this is worth something. But then once the markets turn around and you want to go back into being an owner operator, it's going to be very hard to find a good truck and a cheap truck. You're not going to be able to find it. You're going to be late to the game. Okay. Let's see if we have any other questions, then we can wrap it up. $1,200 truck payment monthly, is it manageable? I think everything that's under $1,000 a month is okay. $1,200 is for sure not bad. I think $1,200 is for like a $60,000 truck. And $60,000 truck, you can get a really good truck right now for $60,000. So if you're consistent, if you don't have a high interest rate, right? Unless this is like a $40,000 truck and you have like a 25% interest rate, then I wouldn't do it. But if your interest rate is low and you can get like a $60,000 truck and you try to pay it off as fast as you can, I think it's manageable. Anything over $1,500, I would say no. But I think $1,200 should be okay. Any chance to work remotely from any country? Yeah, like I said earlier, yeah, if you have a internet connection, a computer, and some money to start, then you should be able to work remotely. I was also wondering how I could help Annie, since we both have software development skills and applied into trucking business. And he meant Emro. Ulrich, he meant Emro. Yeah, I can connect you with Emro, and you guys can talk. He's really good. He has good ideas. He has good advice, and he will tell you whether something is going to work or not. I have your email, Ulrich, and then I can connect you with Emro, and you guys can take it from there. Okay. Well, I don't see any more questions here. This was very fun. I missed this for sure, and hopefully I can do it next Wednesday. Maybe before that, but knowing my schedule, probably not. Thanks everyone for watching. If you have any suggestions, my email address is in the description of every video. If you have any suggestions for content or what should I talk about, or if you have a question so I can prepare better for next time, do send me an email. Thanks everyone for being here every time. and following and encouraging me and everyone else. And I hope you stay positive and optimistic. And I hope the spot markets and the contract rates and all of that will become better soon, so we can all breathe a little better. Thanks everyone for watching, and then I'll see you guys around. Thanks.